Haryana is a state located in the northern part of India. This region holds a profoundly significant and special place in the vast tapestry of the country's long and storied history. It is often referred to with great reverence as the cradle of Indian civilization. This important title is given because many foundational stories, ancient settlements, and pivotal historical events that shaped the Indian subcontinent took place on this very land. These early developments contributed significantly to the cultural and societal frameworks that would define India for millennia to come. The soil of Haryana itself has been a silent witness to countless transformations over thousands of years, nurturing life and culture. The land of Haryana was historically very fertile, blessed by rivers that made agriculture possible from very early times. This fertility attracted human settlements long before recorded history began to be meticulously documented. Archaeological findings across the region point to the existence of well-developed societies even in prehistoric periods. These early inhabitants learned to cultivate crops and domesticate animals, leading to more settled ways of life. The plains of Haryana provided ample resources for these communities to grow and flourish. This environment was crucial for the development of complex social structures and early forms of governance, setting a precedent for later kingdoms and empires. The strategic geographical location of Haryana also played a crucial role in its historical importance as a developing region. Situated at a crossroads, it often became a meeting point for different cultures and peoples moving across the Indian subcontinent. This interaction, sometimes peaceful and sometimes conflictual, contributed to a rich blending of traditions and ideas. The early human activity in this area was not just about survival, it was also about innovation and the beginnings of organized community living. The lessons learned here about resource management and societal organization were fundamental to the subsequent growth of larger civilizations in the broader Indian context, providing a strong foundation. Therefore, when we speak of Haryana as the cradle of civilization, we acknowledge its foundational role in the very early stages of India's cultural and historical journey. It was here that some of the earliest chapters of human endeavor in this part of the world were written. The region provided the backdrop against which initial societal norms were formed and spiritual quests began to take shape. Understanding the ancient past of Haryana is essential for appreciating the deep roots of Indian traditions and the long continuity of its civilization. This land truly set the stage for many epic narratives and philosophical inquiries that would follow in the subsequent centuries of development. The ancient land of Haryana finds numerous and significant mentions in some of the oldest and most revered Hindu texts, which form the bedrock of Indian spiritual and cultural heritage. The Rig Veda, considered one of the earliest compositions in the Sanskrit language, contains hymns that make reference to the geographical features and life in this region. These hymns speak of mighty rivers, including the sacred Saraswati, which once flowed through this land, supporting vibrant communities along its fertile banks. The descriptions in the Rig Veda paint a picture of a prosperous area, vital to the people of that ancient era. This textual evidence underscores Haryana's importance even in those very early times. The Rigvedic hymns often describe the region of Haryana, then part of a larger geographical area known as Brahmavarta or Aryavarta, as a land blessed by nature and favored by the gods. It was seen as a place where righteous conduct and sacred rituals were paramount. The people of this era lived in close harmony with their natural surroundings, and their spiritual practices were deeply intertwined with the rhythms of the seasons and the flow of the rivers. The reverence for the Saraswati River in particular highlights its central role not just as a source of water, but also as a source of inspiration and spiritual purity for the Vedic people who inhabited these lands. Moving forward in time, the great epic, the Mahabharata, is inextricably linked with the land of Haryana. A significant portion of this monumental epic, which narrates the story of the Kuru dynasty and the Great War, is set in this very region. The city of Kurukshetra, located in modern-day Haryana, is central to the narrative as the battlefield where the climactic war between the Pandavas and the Kauravas took place. The Mahabharata describes the kingdoms and cities that flourished here, providing a rich, albeit epic, account of the political and social life of that period. The epic itself is a cornerstone of Indian culture, philosophy, and moral discourse. The Mahabharata portrays Haryana not merely as a geographical backdrop, but as a principal stage for some of the most profound events and moral dilemmas in the epic. The dialogues and teachings, especially the Bhagavad Gita, which was delivered on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, have shaped Indian thought for centuries. The epic's deep association with Haryana firmly establishes the region's prominence in the cultural and historical consciousness of India. The stories from the Mahabharata, passed down through generations, continuously reinforce the sacred and historical significance of this land, making it a place of pilgrimage and reflection for millions of people. The Battle of Kurukshetra, as narrated in the Mahabharata, holds immense historical and cultural significance for India, and its location in Haryana underscores the region's pivotal role. This epic war was fought between the Pandavas and the Kauravas for the throne of Hastinapura. The battlefield of Kurukshetra, meaning the field of the Kurus, was chosen for this Dharmayuddha, or righteous war. The consequences of this great battle were far-reaching, leading to a profound re-evaluation of dharma, justice, and righteousness in Indian thought. It marked a transition point in the epic's narrative, symbolizing the end of one era and the beginning of another, with significant societal changes. The historical importance of the Battle of Kurukshetra extends beyond the narrative of the Mahabharata itself. While the exact historicity and scale of the battle are subjects of scholarly discussion, its symbolic power is undeniable. It represents the eternal struggle between good and evil, order and chaos. The teachings imparted during this conflict, most notably the Bhagavad Gita, where Lord Krishna advises Arjuna, have provided spiritual guidance and philosophical insights for countless individuals over millennia. The battlefield itself has become a sacred site, imbued with the memory of this epic struggle and the profound wisdom that emerged from it, making Haryana a land of deep spiritual resonance. Beyond the epic battles, ancient Haryana was also a vibrant center of Vedic learning and spiritual pursuits. The Saraswati River, which is extolled in the Rig Veda, played a crucial role in fostering this environment of knowledge. This river was not just a geographical entity, it was considered a goddess of knowledge, wisdom, and the arts. Along its banks, numerous ashrams or hermitages flourished, where sages and scholars dedicated their lives to learning, teaching, and the performance of Vedic rituals. This intellectual and spiritual activity contributed significantly to the development and preservation of Vedic traditions and Sanskrit literature. The presence of the Saraswati River created a fertile ground, both literally and metaphorically, for the growth of an advanced intellectual culture in Haryana. Sages and seers gathered here to meditate, engage in philosophical debates, and compose sacred hymns that would form the core of Vedic literature. These centers of learning attracted students from far and wide, eager to imbibe the wisdom of the Vedas. The serene and sacred atmosphere along the riverbanks was conducive to deep contemplation and the transmission of knowledge from guru to disciple. Thus, Haryana, nurtured by the Saraswati, became a fountainhead of ancient Indian wisdom and spirituality for many centuries. The sages who lived in ancient Haryana led lives of simplicity, discipline, and profound intellectual engagement. Their ashrams were not just places of residence, but vibrant centers of learning and spiritual practice. These wise individuals dedicated themselves to understanding the mysteries of the universe, the nature of existence, and the principles of righteous living. They meticulously performed Vedic rituals and yajnas, which were believed to maintain cosmic order and bring well-being to society. The hymns they composed were expressions of their deep spiritual insights and their reverence for the natural world, often reflecting the landscapes of Haryana. These ancient sages played a vital role in shaping the cultural and philosophical landscape of India. Through their teachings and compositions, they laid the foundations for many schools of Indian philosophy and spiritual traditions. The knowledge accumulated and disseminated in these ashrams along rivers like the Saraswati was not confined to a select few, but gradually spread, influencing the ethical and moral codes of communities across the land. The tradition of oral transmission, where sacred texts were memorized and passed down through generations, ensured the continuity of this ancient wisdom, making Haryana a key point of origin for these enduring intellectual currents. The deep historical and cultural roots established in ancient Haryana continue to resonate in modern India. The stories from the Mahabharata, the philosophical insights of the Bhagavad Gita, and the reverence for sacred sites like Kurukshetra remain integral parts of Indian identity. The legacy of Vedic learning, though the Saraswati River may have since changed its course or diminished, has left an indelible mark on the intellectual traditions of the country. Haryana's contribution is not just a matter of past glory, it is a living heritage that continues to inform and inspire the people of India and beyond, reflecting a continuous civilizational thread. In summary, Haryana's claim as the cradle of Indian civilization is well-founded, supported by its prominent role in ancient texts, its significance as the site of pivotal events like the Battle of Kurukshetra, and its history as a nurturing ground for Vedic learning and spiritual inquiry. The sages who lived, learned, and composed their profound hymns in this region helped to weave the very fabric of early Indian culture and thought. The echoes of this ancient past are still palpable in Haryana, reminding us of the profound depth and antiquity of India's rich civilizational journey, which found many of its earliest and most important expressions on this sacred land.